Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, Scott, at least we don't have bad roads. Yesterday was a nice day as the sun started to melt some of the snow. And today we'll see a little bit of snow melt. Hopefully everything is okay. Just make sure that your sidewalks are salted, etc., so you don't slip on some of that refreeze overnight. But at least the roads are clear. Last week it was a little rough getting down here, wasn't it, Drew? My goodness. We are thinking about the folks in Los Angeles, and the Rams are practicing against, they're getting ready for the Vikings, and everything seemed pretty normal for them during their practice at their temporary home on a beautiful afternoon in suburban Phoenix. They had the music blaring, they had coaches shouting, they had footballs flying, they had palm trees swaying in the background. But they are thinking about their home of Los Angeles, and so are we. Everybody is thinking about Los Angeles right now and everything that they are going through. It is just devastating. The wildfires in the LA area. Just continue to follow this coverage, and it's tough. It's tough to watch, and our thoughts are with everybody in Los Angeles and the surrounding area. A flare-up on the west side of LA prompted new evacuations. That caused Santa Anita to cancel horse racing this weekend. That track is in Arcadia, which is near the smoldering Eaton fire that decimated Altadena. Altadena is just north of Pasadena, and some areas of Pasadena have been affected as well. I recently was in Pasadena. My mom was actually born in Pasadena. We have some family ties there. We went, my sister and I, and her boyfriend and two of my buddies from college, and we went to see Indiana play UCLA in the Rose Bowl and had such a great time in Pasadena. Pasadena is so cool. It's like, a bunch of hardworking people, some artists, and hippies living up in the up in the mountains. I mean, it's a great collection of people. I mean, I feel terrible for them. I really do. It's been weighing on me. And I know a lot of you as well with connections to California and everybody out there. So I'm very sorry about everything that's going on there. And we will continue to support them. You can go to Red Cross and make a donation. And certainly every bit helps to help everyone in LA. We have some great friends in Southern California that are suffering right now, losing their homes. A lot of people with St. Louis connections. A lot of people with connections to you, our listeners, I'm sure. Some of whom are listening to us right now. We actually have a good contingent out there on the West Coast that likes to catch up with St. Louis stuff. So our hearts are with you. Also wanted to say thank you to Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt, I'm going to pull it out of my backpack here because I'm still a newspaper guy, Drew. This is I'm going to hold up to the camera. Let me get so I can see what I'm doing. There you go. This is the ad that Paul Goldschmidt took out in the Post-Dispatch today, the Sunday Post-Dispatch. The back page of the sports section is all Goldie, and it says, "Thank you, Cards Nation. Thank you for accepting me as one of your own. Thank you for the cheers. Thank you for sticking with me through ups and downs. Most importantly, thank you for the relationships and memories which will stick with me for a lifetime. It was an honor to wear the Cardinals uniform and do my best to carry on the tradition built by so many before me." And then it's signed Paul Goldschmidt with a nice photo of number 46, rounding first after another bomb, I'm sure. He actually led the team in home runs this past season. Isn't that something? After all that he went through and such a tough year for him at the plate, he never really found it, even in spring training. And continuing on, Goldie just did not have his swing. Timing was off. He looked lost out there and still led the team in home runs with 22. He was also, a stalwart at first base. I mean, a vacuum over there. If a ball was thrown just a little short, he would pick it. If a ball was a little high, he would leap up and get it and then tap his toe on the base. Of course, he's a leader out there, a smart base runner. Best to you, Goldie, and thank you. Thank you for all that you did to contribute to the team as a leader. People followed him by example, both as a father and a husband and a teammate. He was a great example for all. Good family man, loved being in St. Louis. Now he'll go to the Yankees, and he'll play well there. They have a good nucleus already. He'll be a nice piece for their puzzle. He is in a 1 year, $12.5 million deal. That's a good situation for Goldie to play first base in New York. And it just didn't work out here for a variety of reasons. It's not all his fault. He wasn't able to come through. He did have an MVP year in 2022, and I think that was the tough one for Cardinals fans to take because you had the number one MVP in terms of votes received in Goldie. You had number 3 in Nolan Arenado in terms of NL MVP votes. You had Albert Pujols, who really was their MVP in the second half. He was their best hitter, one of the best hitters in baseball, and passed 700 home runs. You had Yadier Molina, was able to bounce back and play. You had a good pitching staff that needed some help. So John Mozeliak and crew went out and they got Jordan Montgomery and they got Jose Quintana. Quintana twirled a beauty in game 1 against the Phillies. But the Phillies captured games 1 and 2 and swept the season. Boom, right then. Just 2 games, gone. It's over. And the Cardinals missed their opportunity at Busch Stadium. Goldschmidt and Arenado weren't able to come through at the plate. And Goldschmidt and Arenado leave. Well, Arenado might not leave, but Goldschmidt leaves St. Louis without a postseason win. That's kind of sad. But then again, this is sports, man. It's tough. I mean, the Phillies went on to the World Series. If things change in game 1 or 2 and you're able to get that thing back to St. Louis for another opportunity, who knows? But it's just, that was a tough one to take. And the Cardinals lost. They got swept in 2 games. Boom, it's over. So the best of 3. So it was 2023, we know what happened. 2024, it's 71-91. 2024, they have a winning record, but expectations were high, and they did not come close to achieving what they wanted to do, win the division, go on, be a World Series contender. And so Goldschmidt moves on to the Yankees. But this is a classy thing that he did here, taking out the one-page ad. It's becoming more apparent that Nolan Arenado could remain a Cardinal. I think there are still some options for him. Boston seems to be still a great spot for him. There was a report last week that he would accept a trade to Boston if that did come through. Detroit, perhaps, is another one out there. But, John Mozeliak was on Countdown to Opening Day this week with Matt Pauley and answered his question about the Arenado declaration, I should say, that they intend to trade him. Remember, he said that at the winter meetings to a group of reporters. Well, Mozeliak doesn't necessarily walk that back, but he says at the time he said that because he felt there was a deal in place, and that is no longer. Now, I'm assuming that was the Houston deal that Arenado rejected, but that there was a deal. Now it seems awfully quiet for Arenado's services. What happens from here moving forward? Don't know. If Arenado is a Cardinal, is that the worst thing in the world? No. I mean, he's a middle of the order bat, and he's a very good defensive third baseman, one of the best in the game still. He was a Gold Glove finalist, and he is someone who would have to take on a leadership role, be more vocal, and be more, embrace the youth movement and understand where the Cardinals are going with that. And perhaps he can bet on himself, have a great first half. And if they're not in the race at the deadline, they could deal him and get a pretty good deal. And he may have many more options of teams that, heck, the Dodgers may have an opening at that point at third base. Apparently that's where he wants to be. So there's a lot still out there for the Cardinals and Arenado. He could be traded this week. If Bregman does not go to Boston. I could see that. If Detroit wants to get active, apparently they're still in the mix for Bregman. If they don't come up with him, perhaps he could go there. But, man, he'd turn down Houston and then go to Detroit. I mean, no offense to my Detroit people, but, I mean, Houston seems like a fit for him, doesn't it, for offense? I mean, he could just yank a bunch of fly balls into the Crawford boxes and have a good old time down there. But anyway, we'll see where that goes with Arenado. We're going to have John Mozeliak's interview with Matt Pauley on Countdown to Opening Day coming up in the noon hour. I believe that's noon to 2. I'm not sure where that interview exactly falls in that noon to 2 window, but Countdown to Opening Day will be replayed at that time. Then we'll have the Jack Buck Awards replayed from 2 to 4. That was a fun night at the Missouri Athletic Club. Coming up on the show, we have in reverse order, 11:45, Bernie Miklasz. Do not miss Bernie. We will talk about those very subjects, the Cardinals with Bernie, and a couple of football thoughts from him. At 11:30, Jim Powers, who for years did the high school sports caravan on Fox 2 and play-by-play for various outlets around St. Louis. He's received a Missouri State High Schools Athletic Association award that we're going to discuss. But even bigger, He is a big Ohio State fan, so we're going to break down the Buckeyes with him, and he can tell us about the Love and Gray St. Louis connections on the Notre Dame team, which is a 9.5-point underdog against Ohio State on January 20th in the national championship. At 11:15, Mark Mitchell, the wonderful transfer from Duke, who's playing at a very high level for the University of Missouri. He led Mizzou with 18.7 rebounds, and he had a very good game yesterday. We will hear from Mark Mitchell coming up at 11:15. He has a new some news on him, actually, that we're going to break here on KMOX at 11:15 about some work that he's doing in the NIL space. At 11:05 before that, NFL picks. Of course, we've got huge games today. You have Denver at Buffalo. You have Green Bay at Philadelphia. That's going to be a good one. Night game will be Tampa Bay at home against Washington, also a good one. And so we'll pick those three games for you, and we'll pick the college football playoff. Of course, we do it against the spread for those of you out there having some fun. And in the 10 o'clock hour, 10:45, a Blues breakdown, followed by the press conference that St. Louis City SC introduced Olof Mellberg, the new coach. At 10:30, Josh Schertz, the head coach of the Billikens. We're about to get into a big college basketball scoreboard as well. It's all coming up, sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
Lifestyles Unlimited member Lisa on how our educators and mentors share their knowledge.
The whole Lifestyles Unlimited team is just wonderful, and all the people in it is basically copying what I do so you could be successful.
Lifestyles Unlimited. Over 33 years teaching the real estate retirement roadmap. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297 and save 60%. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-355-8662. 636-355-8662 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-355-8662.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Great to be back with you. The news that happened over the last hour, Mike Vrabel is the new head coach of the New England Patriots. This comes after the Patriots fired Gerard Mayo after the team's season finale victory over the Bills. So here comes Mike Vrabel, a fan favorite. 8 seasons as a player in New England. He was a member of its first 3 Super Bowl winners and inductee into the team's Hall of Fame in 2023. He was the preferred candidate, and we'll see what else happens in terms of NFL coaching vacancies, but Mike Vrabel is the new head coach of the Patriots. All right, let's get into some college basketball, and we'll break this down by conference. So yesterday was an incredible day if you're a basketball junkie. There was so much on TV, I couldn't get enough. Starting with Mizzou. They played Vanderbilt in front of a sold-out crowd. I don't think that should be ignored. Mizzou Arena is sold out these days. Back in the day, the Hearn Center was a killer to try to win. That place rocked. Mizzou Arena had its moments where it was very, very difficult to play. We saw it earlier this year, and now we have an opportunity to see it more often. We saw it yesterday with Mizzou beating Vanderbilt by a final of 75-66. They are 13-3 on the year, 2-1 in the SEC. The Commodores are pretty good. I mean, all these SEC teams are good. So Vanderbilt gets votes in both national polls. They're 13-3, 1-1 in the SEC. Mark Mitchell, who will be our guest next hour, led the Tigers with 19 points. He was 6 of 11 from the floor, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. He had 7 rebounds. Anthony Robinson II chipped in 15 points and a career-best 8 assists to go along with 3 steals. He's really good. Caleb Grill is now healthy. He rounded out the Tigers in double figures with 13 points off the bench. Josh Gray, the big boy, had 11 rebounds. That's a season best for him. And Mizzou led wire to wire. Now, it got close. It was down to 1 point late. Vanderbilt cut the deficit, but it was Tamar Bates with a transition dunk to give them a 3-point lead with 4:50 to go. Vanderbilt cut it back to 2, and then Grill got fouled during a 3-point attempt. That ignited a 7-0 run, and they finished the game 75-66. Missouri, it's going to get tough now. They play at number 8 Florida on Tuesday night. The Gators look awesome. They destroyed Tennessee down in Gainesville, and then yesterday they beat Arkansas in Fayetteville. Elijah Martin, 14 points. 3 teammates also scored in double figures as number 8 Florida beat Arkansas 71-63. The number 1 team in the nation is going to be Auburn, but they are dealing with a pretty significant injury here. Johnny Broome has a sprained left ankle. Auburn won over South Carolina 66-63, but Coach Bruce Pearl said Broome has an MRI coming to determine the extent of the injury. We're going to learn more about that. Broome is the best player in the country. 6'10", 240. He is a 5th-year senior, preseason AP All-American, considered a contender for National Player of the Year. Hopefully he's not out long because he's a lot of fun to watch. He was holding his left ankle after going for a rebound in the second half. He couldn't stand without assistance. He needed the help of 2 trainers to get to the locker room. He came back and rooted on the team from the bench, and then stayed with the team on the floor during their celebration and team gathering and prayer. And he's something else, that Johnny Broome. But he has a pretty bad ankle injury, and I hope he's not out long. I like when great players play. Elsewhere in the SEC, Auburn gets the win. They're ranked 2 in the country. They're going to be number 1, but watch out for their longtime rival, Alabama. Alabama has got it going again. Here they are. They go down to College Station and win. Mark Sears, 27 points. Aiden Holloway, 15. Number 5, Alabama beat number 10, Texas A&M, 94-88. This was the first game between top 10 teams in the history of College Station, Texas. Alabama is 14-2, 3-0 in the SEC. Missouri is going to have to play at Florida, and they also have a game coming at home against Ole Miss. Don't sleep on Ole Miss. Malik Dia, 19 points. And number 23, Mississippi, beat LSU 77-65 on Saturday night. They are really good. Kentucky, they are back. Number 6 team in the country, made 16 of 32 from 3. That's insane. Jackson Robinson had 27 points, a season high. Kentucky beat number 14 Mississippi State 95-90. Also, Georgia, they've been playing well lately. They beat Kentucky lately, and now they beat number 17 Oklahoma 72-62. Georgia's 14-2, and they aren't ranked. I'm telling you, there'll be at least a dozen SEC teams in the NCAA tournament, maybe 13. But they beat Oklahoma, who was undefeated, and now has lost 3 straight games. Also, it was in the Big Ten, Illinois losing to USC. Now, Illinois did not have Kasparas Yakachonis, who is their leading scorer. He has a forearm injury, and he's missed 2 straight games after getting hurt against Washington on January 5th. Illinois loses, though, to Southern Cal, not a bad team, a team that's coached by a pretty good one, and Eric Musselman. Desmond Claude scored a season-high 31 and led Southern Cal to an 82-72 win over number 13 Illinois. Disappointing nonetheless. Also in the Big Ten yesterday, boy, my Indiana Hoosiers got absolutely throttled by Iowa. They looked like they didn't know each other before they took the floor, like they had just met. They got just killed yesterday by the Hawkeyes, 85-60. Let's take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference. Northern Iowa beat Illinois State on a buzzer beater, 85-84, a buzzer beater by Titan Anderson. And Trey Campbell had 30 points in that win for Northern Iowa over Illinois State, 85-84. Southern Illinois wins in overtime over Missouri State, 88-78. Jarrett Hensley led the way with 30 for the Salukis. Also in the Ohio Valley Conference, SIUE beat Tennessee Tech 67-59. Morehead State over Southeast Missouri State 67-56. Lindenwood topped Tennessee Martin 82-81. We'll take a break. When we come back, there's a team I left out. They didn't play yesterday, but they will be playing some big games coming this week, and they're good. They're all alone atop the Atlantic 10. The first place St. Louis Billikens. Their head coach, Josh Schertz, joins us next. You're listening to Sports on a Sunday Morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
I don't know how to ask.
They know what sounds are funny.
Or what smells are funky.
That's right. No one knows their furnace like they do. So go ahead, ask.
Okay. Is your furnace funky?
If it is, then make but one call.
And Jerry Kelly will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
And Jerry Kelly will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelly.com. KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
This Tuesday at noon, join me on Book Chat with Debbie Monterey and St. Louis Public Library on Facebook. We will have our monthly author interview, and this time it's Ron Stallworth. Remember the movie Black Klansman? He wrote that book, Black Police Officer Infiltrating the KKK. His new book, Gangs of Zion, he infiltrates an all-white police force in Salt Lake City. You can only see the interview if you join us on Facebook or visit slpl.org.
I know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Royal Banks of Missouri is your community bank with locations throughout St. Louis, St. Charles, Northeast Missouri, Granite City, and Jerseyville, Illinois. A bank branch is not far away. Royal Banks brings in experienced staff and products and services designed to meet your professional and personal financial needs. Investing in our communities, one client at a time. Call 314-212-1500 today. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal opportunity lender. Looking for a new home or to refinance your current mortgage? Royal Banks of Missouri wants to be your home buying partner. With a local staff that will guide you through the process, Royal Banks is an experienced mortgage lender that you can trust. There's still time to lock in on a low rate. Call 314-212-1500 today. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC and Equal Opportunity Lender.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Top of the key, waiting, 10 on the shot clock. Oh, he beat his man, fumbled it, got it back high off the window. Yes! Whistle foul! Count the basket. Robbie fumbled the ball.
Yes.
It should have been a turnover, but somehow he willed it up to the glass, and it went in.
Incredible shot that time. He was trying to go high off the glass, but it caught the back of the rim. And Josh told you during our post game, Robbie likes the big moment, and Billikens up against it. Called his own number and a chance for an M1.
Yes, he does. And yes, he did. Josh Schertz did say that and joins us live now on KMOX. This Billiken Report sponsored by Royal Banks of Missouri. Billikens won that game against St. Bonaventure. Here we go. SLU is 3-0 atop the A-10. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
Doing well. When you hear that highlight right there, Robbie Avila, look, good players. Good things happen to them when they continue to grind and push forward, and that's exactly what Robbie's done. When I think of his entire body of work here in 2024-25, I think about overcoming two sprained ankles, and he's playing at a very high level.
Yeah, it really is. He looks like himself here the last week or two, three, whatever it's been. It's certainly we've talked a lot about return to play, return to perform, and they're not being necessarily the same thing. Somebody might be able to play, but it's going to take them, depending how long they're out and where they are inside of the system and their understanding of what they're doing, to return to performance. Robbie's he had he missed 7 weeks between the two ankle sprains, another 10 days with the back. So looking at a guy that really from early September to when he got back on the court November 25th had missed 8+ weeks of practice and games, and and his understanding of the system is at the highest level. But there's still the areas of rust, of conditioning, of playing with your teammates, and he's such a vital part of what we do. It was him adjusting to them and them also reacclimating back to him. But he's the guy that we've talked about a lot, that the moment's never too big. He's at his best when the stakes are at their highest, whether that's in an individual game or playing in a high leverage, high stake game. He seems to find his best level, and that's a hallmark of all really special players.
He had a career high 3 blocks. I actually was surprised by that. I thought maybe he would have had a trio of blocks somewhere along the line, but he got that. He had those 9 rebounds. He tied Kobe Johnson for team high honors with 5 assists. He was all over the place. He had 14 rebounds, and the Billikens won the game. How would you describe it? I would say toughness. If I had one word, I would say toughness. That's how SLU won the game against a good St. Bonaventure team.
Absolutely. There's to win high level games. There's a level of competitiveness and physicality required to be able to compete and win high level competitive games like that against the St. Bonaventure team that is super physical. Is really, we talked about going in the game. They really have an identity. They've done a great job with a lot of new pieces. Obviously, Coach Schmidt's been there a long time. He's a legendary coach in this league, and what he's done at St. Bonaventure is incredible. And he's been able to get those guys, whether it's because the culture is established or whatever. They came into that game, I thought, with an identity of who they were, how they play on both ends, and we're starting to forge an identity as a team. I think that's been, every team has a way. They want to play offensively, defensively, and it requires a lot of buy-in, a lot of commitment, those type of things. That game right there, really. Every game is a challenge in this league. Every game is a chance to really, get better and learn about yourself. And, that game really stress tested us in our physical competitiveness. And I thought we did a good job responding to it.
How have you responded? Do you think this would be an interesting question? How has your group responded to all of the accolades coming their way? Because, I led the show off. I said, here they are. They're the first place team in the Atlantic 10. They're at the top of the heap right now at 3-0. We know, of course, the road continues to get tough and tougher. How do you deal with success? We know how you deal. We've talked to you before about how you deal with some of the hits you've taken.
Yeah, I think you got to approach, that's probably the beauty of having very much a day-to-day mindset. We talk internally in the program, about, outside noise, outside expectations versus internal standards, right? And, what we want to really focus on in our, inside the program, inside the locker room is, how do we grow and learn from each and every experience? How do we apply it moving forward so we can be better? And how do we come to work every single day trying to get better? And the reason that we've made improvement from, a month ago to where we are now is because we've kept our head down. We've worked incredibly hard, prepared really well in practice. And then we've been super present inside the competition, really trying to, attack the possession in front of us, not really playing the previous possession or two possessions ahead. Obviously, there's been a buy-in level, a commitment level to all the invisible plays that drive winning. That's kind of correlated with that. But, that's the key. And for us, the reality of our situation is if we're the best team in the A-10, I'm not saying we are, but if we were, the only way to, everybody's chasing us. The only way to remain there is to put our heads down, get to work, and continue to get better because everybody's chasing us to catch us. And if we're not the best team in the A-10, then the only way to catch the teams ahead of us is the same deal. Put our heads down, prepare as well as we possibly can, try to get better every single day, every single time we take the court, be unbelievably present inside the competition, and understand whether it's, every game, like we talked about, it's an incredible challenge. It's a test. And you got to pass these tests together. So understanding like the challenge of St. Bonaventure, was unique compared to St. Joe's. And this test at VCU against a great team in a hostile arena, that's a different type of test. And then Richmond will present a different type of test. We got to pass these tests together. But the goal is just put your head down, go to work, get better every single day, grow and learn through each experience you have competitively, and then see where you end up at the end. Let everybody else. The noise is good. If we were 0-3, it'd be a different type of noise. 3-0 is this noise, but at the end of the day, those things are incredibly fluid. We just got to focus on the things we can control.
This is the head coach of the Billikens, Josh Schertz, with us on KMOX. This VCU team, for people who aren't familiar, and I know the dedicated SLU fans have been watching them like crazy, but they played St. Bonaventure tough. They ended up losing by 2 on New Year's Eve. Then they went to Loyola and won, and they won at home against Fordham. So they'll play on Tuesday at home against you on 6 o'clock. You already talked about their tough home environment. Do they still, by your estimation, play the same defensive pressure style that they're known for?
Yeah, they do. They're I think, they were the preseason pick to win the league. And I think, look, they missed a 3 at the buzzer. That's if it's a half an inch shorter, they're 3-0 in the league, and obviously everybody knows how hard it is to win at St. Bonaventure. They're still as good a team as we played all year. I would say this will be the stiffest test when you talk about playing on the road in that environment against that team. We went and stress test ourselves a little bit early in the non-conference with going to San Francisco, going to Grand Canyon, which is a good environment. But this will be the best team in the hardest environment to date. For our group. So I know, it's going to be an incredible challenge, but it's a great opportunity for us too. It's an opportunity for us to kind of, we talked about the physicality piece that we had to deal with against St. Bonaventure. And this is a chance to go into a hostile environment against a great team and see if our execution, how together we are, how tight our circle is. The home is awesome because you're playing in front of your fans. And I gotta, I want to make sure to, commend our fans. Without the students there, St. Joe's and St. Bonaventure, our fans were loud. We needed them to be. They did an unbelievable job of creating an environment and kind of putting the wind at our back in both those games. But the road's awesome in a different way because it's just you. And you see how tight you are, how together you are when everybody's, trying to get at you. And it's just you against the team and the crowd. And so it's going to be a great challenge, great opportunity for us to grow as a team Tuesday night.
Well, there's nothing better than silencing a crowd with a big shot and a big play, but also defensively, how do you look there? And in particular, how has the addition of Kellen Thames just starting to work his way back, and how is he doing? 14 minutes he played, 5 rebounds and 7 points against St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think our defense in general has made a big jump, and defense is, we talk a lot, Tom, about invisible plays, and what I mean by that is plays that don't get box score credit. Media fans aren't, they're not clamoring for your ball pressure was unbelievable, or the way you canceled those ball screens was fantastic, or man, the way you got back in defensive transition and loaded to the ball, or your gaps and explode in and protect in, explode out, and contested that three was fantastic. Like those things, there's a lot of subtle nuance that you don't get any credit for, that you only do on that end of the floor if you're really committed to winning and you're committed to team success. And we got a lot of guys now that I think are playing in that way, and so our defense has taken a massive jump, because I think our commitment to the invisible plays that drive winning has taken a massive jump. It's not just one guy. I think we've seen across the board. You mentioned Robbie's 3 blocks, Gibson, Kobe, Kalu, Swope, what he's on both ends. And then, of course, Kellen. Kellen, he's just, we've said many times, he brings a level of energy, a level of athleticism that, we just don't have on this team. And when he comes in, he sparks us. And whether it's for, 14 minutes or 8 minutes or 10 minutes, it's great to see him back playing and a smile on his face. And as hard as he played, I got a little emotional when he, the second half, where, he caught that alley-oop and they kind of reverse dunked it and the crowd went crazy. And he was, you just know what he's going through, what he's fighting, and his ability to, have a smile on his face every day and be positive and be so, just so engaged in the team. I mean, he's an ultimate winner. He's a guy that, he loves his teammates. He's an unbelievable teammate, but he cares about winning over anything else. And, whatever we get from him, whether that's 14 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if there's opportunities to play longer than that, we just look at it as a bonus. But right now, his situation is pretty stable relative to, what we think he can do, which is, he can play in some short bursts, and he's going to play till, he can't play anymore. And when he went out with whatever it was, 8 minutes to go, he was done for that night. And we're gonna try to manage that as best we can. But that's kind of where it is. It hasn't changed. The situation's not any worse, not any better. It just kind of is what it is at the moment.
We'll continue to monitor and get information from you, and we appreciate it. And the more you tell those Billiken fans that they're doing a good job, the more they're going to bring it. I can promise you that. And the student section will be bouncing around on January 22nd. But that is a 2-week gap between home games, and you'll have at VCU on Tuesday, at Richmond on Saturday afternoon. Of course, we'll carry those games on KMOX. And we love having you on sports on a Sunday morning. Always great getting up on these Sundays and talking basketball with you, Coach.
I appreciate it. It's always awesome connecting with you, talking with you. It's always fun. And again, thanks to the fans. And we look forward to seeing everybody on the 22nd. We're going to go try to handle our business. Got a long trip here to Richmond. We leave tomorrow and staying out there till Saturday night. So we'll be gone for a while, but we can't wait to get back in front of the home folks against LaSalle on that Wednesday night.
That makes sense. Stay out there. Ask Rebecca Tillett. She knows all about Virginia. She can give you some tips on
make sure
where to go eat.
I'm going to pick her brain on places to go.
She knows what's
Absolutely.
up. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
There is the head coach of the Billikens, Josh Schertz, with us. Billiken Report sponsored by Royal Banks of Missouri. When we come back, we'll hear what the Blues did yesterday. We'll get a Blues breakdown. We'll also hear from Olof Mellberg, who spoke to the media after being officially named head coach of St. Louis City SC. You're listening to Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
KMOX and the St. Louis Cardinals are thrilled that the 28th Winter Warm-Up is back at Busch Stadium in Ballpark Village, January 18th to 20th. Admission passes and player autograph tickets are on sale now. Team up with Cardinals Care to support St. Louis area children by purchasing your tickets now. It's one of the best events of the year, with family-friendly activities including tours of the Cardinals Clubhouse and admission to the world-class Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. Get more info at KMOX.com/events.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitamin.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. Our attorneys will hold truck drivers and owners accountable. We stand up to big trucking companies to get you the compensation you deserve. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law today for a free review. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9 all zeros.
I'm Gentry.
I'm Ben.
We're the Golden Boys.
For the 25th annual Hardee's Rise and Shine for Heat benefit.
In January, pre-order as many sausage or egg biscuits or both for $1 each.
Pre-order only at heatupstlouis.org.
Within 24 hours, pick up your pre-orders at your Hardee's.
100% helps area neighbors stay warm at heatupstlouis.org.
Yummy sugar plums.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home, but don't want to leave your neighborhood? You are in luck. McKelvey has brand new move-in ready homes in established neighborhoods like Creve Coeur, De Pere, Kirkwood, and many more. Select one of our custom home sites or we will build on your lot. You will love McKelvey's legendary quality and personal service. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey since 1898.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Tom Ackerman with you. It is great to be along with you with our producer, Drew Young. We have plenty to get to, including some football coming up next hour. We are going to break down the NFL picks. Then we're going to have, and thanks to Josh Schertz for joining us in the last segment, we're going to have Mark Mitchell, the star of the Missouri Tigers right now. He had 19 points yesterday in their victory over Vanderbilt. He is the Duke transfer. By the way, did you see Duke's Cooper flag? Holy smokes, is that guy a player? Wow, he had 42 points in a win over Notre Dame, and they needed just about all of them because Notre Dame fought him pretty hard. But Cooper is some talent. Wow, my goodness. If Johnny Broom is out for a while, Cooper could end up being the favorite for National Player of the Year, but they are both really good. The Blues, they're a 500 team. I mean, they are what they are. We can sit there and paint pictures of what they may or may not be, but when it comes down to it, they seem to keep bringing themselves back to 500. The Blues lost last night to the Columbus Blue Jackets at Enterprise Center, a place where they desperately want to be great, consistently great in front of their big crowds, but they weren't able to do it again. They lose by a final of 2-1, and they are 20-20-4. That's their record. They're 4 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. Listen in. This is Jim Montgomery sitting down and addressing the media for a few minutes. Some real urgency out of Jim Montgomery, the head coach of the Blues. That's about as straightforward as we've heard him since he joined the team. And the Blues lose this game by a final of 2-1 to the Blue Jackets. That's a tough one for them to take. They will regroup and take on Calgary next. That is a home game on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. St. Louis City SC, next month, they will be back in business at Energizer Park as they open their 2025 season. And we had a press conference that featured Olof Mellberg. Let's take a quick break, Drew, and when we come back, we'll close out the hour with a little bit of that. We'll just get a little separation here between hockey and soccer. Back in just a moment.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals, but I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
You are not your diagnosis.
A medical chart is not your identity.
And vision loss does not define you.
Your drive shows who you are.
And you are not alone.
Because we are driven too.
To be a beacon of strength.
A champion of courage.
An advocate for hope.
You are not alone.
Because we are stronger together.
We drive the research for the cures we are finding.
We're fighting macular degeneration,
retinitis pigmentosa,
Usher syndrome,
and the entire spectrum of blinding retinal diseases.
We fund.
We fight.
We win.
We
are the foundation fighting blindness.
Together, we are fighting blindness.
Join the fight at fightingblindness.org.
News.
All the headlines that matter to me.
Weather.
If it's going to rain, I want to know.
Traffic.
Well, nobody wants to be late for work.
And who brings you that information every morning?
This is Tom Ackerman.
I'm Megan Lynch. Hi, I'm Debbie Monterey.
I'm Roger Brand.
It's Total Information AM with everything you need to know.
What's going on in the world?
Weather reports are so important to start the day.
Tell me where the traffic is so I can get to work on time.
Total Information AM. Mornings on KMOX.
Find out what's happening.
And always live on the free Odyssey app. Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Let's get to that press conference. This is Diego Giuliani introducing Olof Mellberg. And they landed Olof Mellberg, and here is Lutz. And that's what they want. They want overachievement and they want development of players. Mellberg, in visiting with the media, also had a few things to say. Let's see if we can get to a little bit of that before we have to roll here at the top of the hour. That is Olof Mellberg, the new head coach of St. Louis City SC, flanked by President Diego Giuliani and sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel, who will resume his 11:15 visits on KMOX coming up later this month. And then a month later, they will open the season, their MLS season, at Energizer Park. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have some NFL picks at the top of the hour. We'll have Mizzou's Mark Mitchell. We'll hear from Jim Powers on Ohio State Notre Dame, and we'll wrap it up with Bernie Miklasz. All next hour on KMOX.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 12th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in in-demand fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills and credentials you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Peter King. Los Angeles braces for more high winds, and California Emergency Management says at least 100,000 people are under evacuation orders. City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley on the Palisades fire.
There are still active fires that are burning within the Palisades area, making it extremely, extremely dangerous for the public. There's no power, there's no water, there's broken gas lines, and we have unstable structures.
County Fire Chief Anthony Marone.
We're working on a process to allow residents in the affected areas to be able to go online to view their home if it has been damaged or destroyed.
The fires are blamed for at least 16 deaths.
Many residents are looking ahead to figure out how they'll get back on their feet with their homes completely destroyed. FEMA Director Deanne Criswell told Face the Nation their primary goal is to
rebuild in a way that makes communities more resilient, that keeps insurance companies there.
The White House says as of yesterday, more than 16,000 people had registered for the FEMA assistance made available by the Disaster Declaration. President Biden signed last week. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Now that Jack Smith has resigned from the Justice Department, what happens to his report on Donald Trump and the classified documents he had at his Mar-a-Lago estate? Smith wants a Florida judge to lift the order stopping its release. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson says the case did not go to trial.
When people look back at Jack Smith's tenure, I think they will see that in both of the cases that he brought against President Trump, his efforts were largely stymied.
There's another sign that Israel may be closer to winning the release of at least some of the hostages taken by Hamas during its attack on Israel. CBS's Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
Israel sent a high-level delegation to Qatar, including the head of the Mossad and the Shin Bet, Israel's internal security service, which analysts said was a sign that significant progress has been made toward a ceasefire and hostage deal. In the first stage, 34 Israeli hostages, mostly women and the elderly, are due to be released, although Hamas has refused to say how many of them are still alive. President Trump has warned Hamas there will be hell to pay if the hostages are not released by the time he takes office later this month.
Jim Nantz has been with CBS Sports nearly 40 years, and today he becomes the first CBS play-by-play announcer to call 500 NFL games.
Little did I know back then that I would someday reach a half 1,000 games and have all these opportunities to call Super Bowls and playoff games. It's been a thrill.
He'll call Buffalo and Denver in about an hour. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At 11:03, cloudy and 36 downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Top story this hour. Today kicks off a whole series of events in Jefferson City to welcome Mike Kehoe into the governor's office. The governor-elect begins today by attending a private mass with his family and some guests. Tomorrow morning, a Salute to Heroes event. Then at 10, the governor-elect will gavel in the Missouri Senate. At 11:30, the inauguration begins, marking the departure of Governor Mike Parson. And then later on, the Budweiser Clydesdales will parade from the Missouri State Capitol to the governor's mansion. There's also a ball set for tomorrow night. Rolla has delayed a vote on declaring itself a sanctuary city for the unborn.
The proposed ordinance is being pushed by a Texas-based anti-abortion group that's seeking to persuade cities and towns in several states to adopt the title. If adopted, the ordinance could be used to ban the shipment of abortion-inducing drugs such as mifepristone into Rolla. The proposal was hotly debated at Monday's city council meeting in Rolla, with opponents worried that becoming a sanctuary city for the unborn would trigger a lawsuit from the ACLU. Planned Parenthood operates a clinic in Rolla which does not perform surgical abortions but does provide abortion-inducing drugs. Anthony Morabith, Missouri Net.
Illinois residents can now vote on the final 10 designs for a new state flag, or they can keep the current one.
The Illinois Secretary of State's office has officially opened the voting portal, and votes will be accepted through Valentine's Day on February 14th. The Illinois Flag Commission selected the 10 finalists in December from over 4,800 entries. You can choose from the 10 designs, vote to keep the current flag, or select the 1918 Centennial flag or the 1968 Sesquicentennial flag. See the options at the Secretary of State's website at ilsos.gov/state flag. Julie Carpenter, KMOX News.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service decided to list the monarch butterfly as a threatened species. Here's Tad Yankowski with the Butterfly House in St. Louis.
We are currently in the public comment section where different entities can reach out to U.S. Fish and Wildlife and weigh in on the pending decision. And in March, U.S. Fish and Wildlife will officially announce the protections that the monarch butterflies will get under the Endangered Species Act.
He says in the last 30 years, the population of monarch butterflies has gone down 90 to 95%. Right now, we are expecting temperatures around 40 and mostly cloudy this afternoon, 15 overnight, 26 tomorrow, 26 on Tuesday, maybe a bit of snow in the morning, but no accumulation is expected. And then we are warming up by Thursday back to 40 degrees, plenty of sunshine on Thursday. 38 right now in St. Peter's, same in Florissant. We got 35 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. It is great to be along with you. We have Mark Mitchell, who scored 19 points for Mizzou yesterday in a win over Vanderbilt. He will be joining us here momentarily with some exciting news about a new product that is going to be on your shelves with his face and his profile. And I can't wait to tear into this bag. That's a little teaser as to what's to come. First, we have some work to do, and that is NFL picks.
And a key block by the left guard, Tom Ackerman. And right here, let's go downstairs to Bonus.
Marv, if you remember that big run Robert Holcomb had on the first drive, one of the guys responsible on help busting him loose was Tom Ackerman.
Tom Ackerman up front, and this is a unit that has played very well. A good night for Eddie George. 21 carries, 74 yards. The left guard, Tom Ackerman, with the block that set him free. It's a first down.
Welcome to our NFL picks. Now, some folks who are watching us on YouTube have told us that they cannot hear when I play audio from this computer. We are aware of that issue, and we have addressed that with our IT department. Our engineers are all over it. That would include, I'm assuming, that open that I just played with Tennessee Titans offensive lineman Tom Ackerman, as well as the entire press conference clips from City, the press conference from Jim Montgomery. So we're sorry for our users who are watching online. That would include X, Facebook, YouTube. A lot of people are starting to consume this via video. I can see there are like 800 people watching right now, so we appreciate that very much. Those of you on radio, you were able to get it. All right, now you're going to get my picks. Let me start, before I do the picks, tell you about something that I've been playing with recently, and I actually do commercials for them on Total Information AM, but I might as well bring it up now since we're talking about, action. And that would be the Underdog app. Underdog app's cool. So I'm tracking right now my 4 picks starting at noon. Do I have anyone in that first game? I do. I have Josh Allen going higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's going to have 2, isn't he? He's going to go over 1.5, isn't he? So I got Josh Allen. This is in my group of 4. Saquon Barkley, higher than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. That's a slam dunk. He's going to score today. Jordan Love, Packers quarterback, higher than 217.5 passing yards. I think he will be able to throw against this Eagles secondary. And then Josh Jacobs, I have him higher than 0.5 rushing plus receiving touchdowns. He's the running back for the Packers. I think I've got this one, but we'll see. I'm also doing a flex on this one, so I don't need all 4 to happen. I need 3 to happen, and I can still get money back, actually win a little bit of money if I get 3 out of 4. If I get 4, I'm going to be doing very well today. This is really easy to play. It's called the Underdog app. Use promo code TOM, and you're going to be playing along. Even if you're not even a sports fan, it makes sports, I think, more watchable for some people to be able to play Underdog fantasy along with it. So I'm just, not anything more than just having a little fun. I'd do it if I were you. Underdog. Okay, here are our picks. Noon game today, Broncos at Bills. Interesting because I think the Broncos team has a lot of promise. I think they will be really good in the coming years with Sean Payton. In fact, I think they're about a year ahead of schedule. I thought that Payton would get them back to the playoffs. First time since 2015. Payton is a tremendous coach, and he does very well with quarterbacks. He had Drew Brees for a number of years. Now he has Bo Nix, and he won a Super Bowl with the Saints, and I think he's going to have this Broncos team playing well for the coming years, but not this day. Denver's a good team, not good enough to topple Buffalo. In fact, I do not have them covering the spread either. Spread's 7.5. Hate the half point, but I'm going to do it anyway. Bills minus 7.5. They covered today against the Denver Broncos at home. Nobody's stopping them. Not yet, anyway. Green Bay at Philadelphia. So this is a matchup of 2 excellent running backs. Saquon Barkley And on the other side, Josh Jacobs. Barkley ran for over 2,000 yards. Jacobs tough, man. He moves the chains. He's really good. And Barkley kind of paved the way for the running game to be a factor again in the NFL. People love to copy, and they are copying the Eagles in how they manufacture first downs via the run game. The ground game's really good. But the Eagles have a bit of an issue in that their secondary is not great. And I think that Jordan Love can pick them apart if they decide to go through the air. We'll see. On the other side, the Packers have to get in the backfield and get Jalen Hurts hurried. They have to. They're not a great pass rush team. If they do that, I think they'll win the game. I think they will win the game in what will be a high-scoring affair. And I'm going to take the Packers +5 at Philadelphia. Packers are good. The knock on them is they can't beat a great team. Today's going to be the day. Packers +5. Washington at Tampa Bay. So the Bucs are a 2.5-point favorite at home. That should tell you something. They're at home, man. Come on. This is Tampa. This is football town. Place should be rocking. The Washington Commanders. They've played good football for most of this year. In fact, they're playing their best football right now. They've won 5 in a row, folks, heading into this game. And my man, Jaden Daniels out of LSU, is outstanding. Love it. So here we go. I've got the Commanders winning this game outright, and I got them +2.5. So I'm taking 2 underdogs today on the road, Green Bay and Washington, and the points. And then for tomorrow night, Minnesota at the Rams. That game is being played in Arizona. I think the Vikings are hurting after losing that game. But as Nick Saban often says, some of your best football, just look at Ohio State. Some of your best football is played after a humbling loss, and they got humbled at Detroit. I think the Vikings turn it around. They will be motivated, and they will win that game tomorrow night to advance to the divisional round of the playoffs. Give me Vikings -2 against the Rams. And then in the college football national championship, I've talked about it before, and we're going to go a little more in depth at 11:30. I am taking Notre Dame +9.5, and I hate the 9.5. I'd rather it be 10, but I'll do it anyway. 9.5 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to keep that game close against the Buckeyes. Not sure if they'll win it, but they're better than getting blown out. They're better than getting blown out. They're a good team. Good defense, good special teams. We'll keep that game manageable. When we come back, some college basketball. Mark Mitchell, the Missouri Tigers, next.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
My best friend Jimmy came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey when my furnace broke and it's already late. Call Jimmy Kelly because they're open till 8, JimmyKelly.com. They'll be here quick and have you feeling good, JimmyKelly.com. Cause your furnace will be running like it should. They're certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, JimmyKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, JimmyKelly.com.
This Tuesday at noon, join me on Book Chat with Debbie Monterey and St. Louis Public Library on Facebook. We will have our monthly author interview, and this time it's Ron Stallworth. Remember the movie Black Klansman? He wrote that book, Black Police Officer Infiltrating the KKK. His new book, Gangs of Zion, he infiltrates an all-white police force in Salt Lake City. You can only see the interview if you join us on Facebook or visit slpl.org.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by February 12th, you'll pay no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
The election is over and a new pro-business administration's about to begin. At Swish Funding, we're ready to help America's small businesses thrive in 25. Whether it's for cash flow, expansion, or new equipment, Swish Funding has flexible funding options from $25,000 up to $2 million. You could get a decision in minutes and cash in your account in as little as 24 hours, with rates as low as 8%. To qualify, be in business at least 1 year, with monthly revenue of at least $50,000. Apply today at swishfunding.com. SWISH
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, any win in the SEC is a big win these days. It is far and away the best conference in college basketball. I think they could get 12, maybe 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. It is that good. And yesterday, Mizzou outlasted Vanderbilt 75-66. That Vanderbilt team's getting votes in both national polls, and they gave Mizzou all they could handle. But Mark Mitchell helped Missouri pull away for victory yesterday at Mizzou Arena, sold out Mizzou Arena in Columbia, and the Tigers are now 13-3, 2-1 in the SEC. Mitchell led Mizzou with 19 points and 7 rebounds, and he joins us now live on KMOX. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. I am here with your pal. It is Ken Dubinsky, and he joins us by way of Haystack. This is Haystack Sourcing Solutions President, Ken Dubinsky. Ken, it's great to have you, my longtime friend in studio.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be here. Appreciate it. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing really well.
Well, it's great to have both of you. We have a special announcement before we get into talking some hoops, Mark. Let's get down to business. NIL is part of college athletics today, and the opportunity to be able to pull in some resources for you, for your family, for the health of college athletics. We have seen a lot of players benefit from this. And Ken, we have a very special affiliation now between Mark and yourself and St. Louis consumers.
It's been a lot of fun. A number of people have seen the items we've done at Schnucks with the various Mizzou athletes, started up with Luther's Chips and a ton of other items. Schnucks has been a great partner, and they stepped up again for what I am very pleased to announce is Mark Mitchell's Spicy Queso Hoops. They are available starting this week. And Mark, I know we had some fun this week as you had a number of your teammates try them, and you just posted a video on all your socials, and it has been a real pleasure working with you on this and really excited to get this out into the market.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for what you guys have done. The chips turned out better than I could imagine. My teammates actually love them. They come in my room taking bags the last couple of days. Everyone at the facility, they're really good, really tasty, and I'm just thankful for this opportunity.
I'm going to have a little crunch here if you don't mind. Oh, they're good. Very good. I'd like to have those with a little cold beverage on the side while I'm watching some hoops. Mark, really good. So the players took well to it, and you're pretty excited about it, huh?
Yeah, they have. The last couple of days they've been eating them a lot. Ant in school ate like 2-3 bags the last couple of days. Coach Summer's been asking for some more. So yeah, they're really good. They're better than I could even imagine. Just the product, the design, the taste, everything is just almost perfect.
Spicy queso. Ooh, there is some kick to it. I like it a lot. They're little hoops. So on the back of the bag is you dunking through one of the hoops. I like it.
I'm proclaiming him the first person in the history of food to slam dunk on his own product.
Definitely.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to our designer, Craig Swoboda. Had a great idea to do that on there, and Craig's done a great job with all of our products, and just want to give him some props. But really excited with how the product came out, the taste, the package itself is great. And again, it'll be at all Schnucks stores, also at top convenience stores around the city. Look for them on the old Vienna racks all over. And excited to get these going and have Tiger fans have a new snack.
Well, that's awesome. And you worked with, a number of people, including, as you mentioned, Luther Burden. You've got his Red Hot Riplets, but those are the Vienna Honey Barbecue Red Hot Riplets that my daughter Audrey absolutely loves. Anytime we see Luther in the store, we grab those.
Good to see.
It's fun, isn't it? I mean, what does it mean to you? I know that everybody seems to have an opinion about NIL, but what does it mean, do you think, when you see the overall picture right now of what's going on with these student athletes?
It really has been a ton of fun for me. I mean, lifelong Missouri fan, as you know, and it's been great being hopefully to help the program in my own little way, and hopefully the players have a lot of fun with it. And I do feel good that this is really the true meaning of NIL, really paying them for their name, image, and likeness. And again, this is kind of a unique way to do it that I think Mizzou has certainly been ahead of the game in a lot of the ventures with name, image, and likeness. And hopefully this is another advantage and lets a guy like Mark get his name out there and let Tiger fans get to know him a little bit better off the field, off the court as well.
Mark, we all know about the Duke brand, and we saw you at Duke. You were a 2-year starter at Duke. You are a McDonald's All-American, and your story is great, but you came to Mizzou. Do you feel like part of that was being able to come home since you're a Kansas City native?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Obviously, being closer to home was definitely a factor in my decision. Just being from Kansas City, I know about the Mizzou culture, the fan base, and how much love they just have for their athletic programs. I felt that love, obviously, right when I committed. This since I've been here, it's been overwhelming. The fans have been great. Just the support that we get each and every game has been really special, and better than I could imagine.
Pretty cool to have your own snack, but also to have a place on this basketball team. I think this team's pretty good. I mean, I went to the bragging rights game. I was with you, Ken, watching it. They look like an SEC team. I mean, they have the length, they have the shooting ability, they are strong on the boards. And Mark, you have all of those things. I'm enamored with your game. I love watching you play. How would you describe your game when you were at your best? What is Mark Mitchell on the floor?
I think just showing off my versatility, obviously with my size and athleticism and skill. I think I just play a little bit everywhere on the court. Coach Gates asked me to do a lot of different things, and I just kind of plug and play, do what the team needs me to do, and just play all over the court and just impact the game in a lot of different ways.
And you did that yesterday with your, as I mentioned, 19 points and 7 rebounds. You also have a team that it seems to be filled with versatile players. I mean, you have, Gray is obviously the big boy who can get rebounds. Grill, who I don't think gets enough credit for his overall game, but he certainly can shoot from the outside. But you have a number of teammates and some depth, I feel like. How would you describe your team right now?
Yeah, I think we're just a bunch of hard-playing guys. Obviously, the skill level and versatility is something that speaks for itself. Having guys with size and skill is something I think Coach Gates wants in his program. Obviously him coming from Florida State and having that model player that they had there, I think we have some of the similar things here. I don't think we have any missing pieces. I think we have a little bit of everything: shooters, scorers, facilitators. I think we have a chance to be really good. We have a good season so far. I think we're only going to keep getting better.
And I'm right about the SEC being the best conference in the country. I'm sure you would back me up on that. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, every single night you're going to have your hands full, but so are they with you.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. I mean, obviously, I think the numbers speak for itself. The resumes of all the teams in the league have been really good this year, and there's no easy games. You can't take your foot on the gas for anyone. Anyone can get beat any night, and I think we've seen that so far in the league. So we're going to keep going, keep preparing, and stay prepared each and every game.
What is Gates like to play for? We hear the stories about him not only being a good game coach, but just to those other 22 hours of the day where we don't see you all. What a father figure he is and caring person he is to you as a human.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Coach Gates, obviously, he loves on us hard on and off the court. That sometimes that's not always him just being your best friend, but him getting on you, him showing you love. He says love is discipline. I think something that's really real, something that he's shown us. Obviously, he loves us on the court, off the court. Not just talking about basketball all the time, but really just knowing us off the court, being ingrained in our lives and getting to know us as people rather than just basketball players.
And one last thing for me, Mark, in terms of basketball and the atmosphere, I've been to Mizzou Arena, since it was built. I was at Hearn Center when I was a little kid all the way through. I followed it. I've been to Cameron as well. I mean, Cameron's great. I mean, it's the best student section I think I've ever seen in terms of creativity. And of course, they put them right on top of the court. But the sheer volume of a place like Mizzou Arena, when it's full and that place is rocking, that student section is enormous, those steep bleachers. What is that like as a player to feel that? I'm sure that Kansas game would be the top of the line for you so far.
Yeah, it was really special. You could feel just the atmosphere, the energy from the students, and just, most of them kids being here just from being Missouri, Illinois, Kansas type of kids, they have that love and that pure just passion for Mizzou hoops, and something they probably felt their whole lives. And I think we can feel that we're on the court with just their energy and how much they want us to win, and just giving us that support and give us an extra boost that really helps us in those times.
And we talk a lot, Ken, about Eli Drinkwitz and what he's done with the football program. And we know that football drives revenue to the university, and the stadium is under renovation. NIL money is coming in. There's a lot of support. But how do you see just overall the growth of basketball right now? Where do you see Dennis Gates, for that matter, athletic director Laird Veach, the NIL collective, all working together to build basketball back to what it once was?
Tell you, I've been a Mizzou fan, obviously lifelong, as I know you, and I don't know that I've ever felt as good about the combination of football and basketball together as I do now. And that goes back a lot of years and a lot of great years in basketball with Norm and everything. But to have both programs in as good a shape with Coach Gates and Coach Drink, I just feel really good. I think basketball in particular, Coach Gates has a tremendous, I mean, the recruiting class he brought in this year, both the freshman class and the transfer class, are both among the best in the country. And he just seems to have great momentum, and seeing him with the kids, like you said, you can tell it's a very special relationship, and the kids that he has are really good kids. And obviously Mark is a shining example of that, great on and off the court. And I just feel great about the momentum he's got going, and look forward to this year and beyond.
It was pretty fun being part of that game against Illinois. Even though you lost the game, that was a taste of bragging rights and what that's all about, Mark. That was I'm sure that as a Kansas City kid, you didn't make a ton of trips over to St. Louis, but you're familiar with St. Louis, and seeing it firsthand like that had to have been a good time.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, it's a unique atmosphere, being in a neutral site, playing a rivalry game, the stadium being split 50-50. It was just a great experience. Obviously, we lost the game, but I think it was a good game. We fought hard. Obviously, we had some mistakes there down the stretch, but I think it was just a great atmosphere, great environment. It's something that you come to Mizzou for, and I'm glad we just keep that going throughout the years and for the years to come.
Well, there's a lot to come, I know, for Mizzou and the SEC schedule. And with this product, Snack Fanatics, Mark Mitchell's Hoops Spicy Queso Flavored Rings. So these are like little fried onion rings is the shape of them, but it's a unique spicy queso flavor, and they are really good. I'm going to be eating these during the break. Ken, where can people get them, Schnooks?
At all Schnooks statewide, all across Missouri, as well as, again, convenience stores on the old Vienna racks. But, again, just want to say shout out to Schnooks. They've been a great partner on these Mizzou items and continue to step up with this one. So go get them, and look forward to Tiger fans enjoying them and enjoying them throughout the season.
Fun. We got to talk some snacks and some hoops with Mark Mitchell. And thank you for doing this, Mark and Ken, for putting this together and coming on Sports on a Sunday morning. It's really been a pleasure. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for doing this on a Sunday. We appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thanks a ton, Tom. And
Thank
Mark.
you. Mark Mitchell, the Missouri Tigers. Go grab a bag of these. I'll be saying, oh, you gave me 2 of them. All right, I'll take it. And some Burden chips as well. All right. I'm all over it. Our producer's Drew Young. I'm Tom Ackerman. We're going to give him this bag also because he works hard over there. He needs some of that to fire him up. We will take a break. When we come back, we're going to get fired up. Wait till you hear this next guest. Jim Powers is instant energy, and he will be talking about Ohio State Notre Dame and the national championship 1 week from tomorrow. He also has received a major award from Misha. The Missouri State High School Athletic Association has awarded Jim for his years of coverage and dedication to high school sports. By the way, a couple of huge St. Louis stars on that Notre Dame team we're going to talk to Jimmy about next on KMOX.
This year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. Like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Now the timing is better, but maybe you still have questions, right? This is Debbie Monterey for Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Lou for years now because Gloria Lou is St. Louis's real estate expert. And if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know Gloria like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met some of her clients. Gloria is different than any other realtor. If you need help selling for the most money, you need to call Gloria Lou. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, or the Central West End, you absolutely must call Gloria Lou. Take it from me, Debbie Monterey, and call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Podcast The Bernie Miklasz Show today on the free Odyssey app and follow to receive Bernie's daily take on Cardinals, Blues, or whatever else is in the news. AUDACY. Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, that was fun. I'm enjoying these Mark Mitchell Hoop Spicy Queso flavored rings. And got a bag for you, Drew. My daughter Audrey's going to love these. This is like right up her alley. So we'll make sure she gets some of those before her big game today. She's got a basketball game today at 2 and 3. You gotta get those queso rings. It's 11:32. Normally we talk to John Mozeliak at this time. Mo, you can hear on the next show. Countdown to opening day has some interesting things to say about the trade market for Nolan Arenado. So, Jim Powers, I wouldn't say you have big shoes to fill. You can slide right in there and bring it on KMOX. I know that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and yeah, you know what? Big shoes, holy smokes! I'm just honored to be filling in these shoes here this morning.
It's great to have you on KMOX. You're no stranger to broadcast. You've done, hundreds, thousands of games in your career, calling basketball, football, and beyond. I've worked with you on college football. We did it for a number of years in the Missouri Valley Conference. You continue to follow that FCS football, which I really enjoy your coverage. You're on Twitter and have been for years at High School Sports Caravan, which you have done for Fox 2 and beyond for many years. Your high school coverage, before we talk about Notre Dame and Ohio State and the matchup on January 20th, which I know you're amped up for, I want to first congratulate you on an award you received from MSHA, the Missouri State High School Athletic Association, for your years of service to high school sports. Tell us about that honor and how you feel about it.
I received a letter back in late September. The name of the award is the Mal Mays Distinguished Service Award. And for those that don't know, Mal has been a long-time member of MSHA as their attorney, and he just does so many great things for our student athletes here in the state. And, this award, there's many names that have received this award, and to have my name with them is just absolutely unbelievable. If somebody would have asked me 20 years ago when I moved here to St. Louis from Northeast Ohio, if I would have won something like this, I would have said, absolutely not. You've lost your mind. I just cover the kids. I cover the coaches. And, that's what it's all about. When I first moved here, high school coverage wasn't that good. And now you look at how it's exploded over the last 20 years, the different outlets, the different venues. And, I think that I've had a little bit of a part in helping amplify that high school coverage here in the St. Louis area and in the state of Missouri, which is, very fulfilling to me because the kids deserve it. They work their tails off. The coaches work hard, the athletic directors. It's just something that I felt we needed to kind of improve upon, and we've done such a terrific job with it. And now you see all the outlets doing stuff, and it makes it really, really good to see.
Well, it's great for not only the families who follow, but the schools who put so much, the officials that put so much, everybody, the volunteers. There are so many people involved in so many games on a daily basis throughout the St. Louis area that deserve that coverage, and you have provided that. There are others who do a really nice job in this area, but to have you awarded and honored is very special and very well-deserved. Before we talk about this matchup, Ohio State and Notre Dame featuring two high-level St. Louis products, let me ask you just overall, just concentrating on football now, the level of football. You know, we talk about St. Louis as a baseball town, a hockey town. We know its history in basketball with Jason Tatum currently and Bradley Beal leading the way when it comes to big names. But this is, make no mistake about it, a football town that gets rated by programs all over the country. Doesn't it, Jim?
Yeah, without a doubt. And we've seen this turn maybe over the last 10 years to where, you know, back then, you know, St. Louis was a stop. It wasn't one of those high on the top, you know, spots because there were some great kids. Now you look at where St. Louis is, it's must. You have to come here. If you're Ryan Day, if you're, you know, when Nick Saban was at Alabama, you know, if you're those guys, St. Louis is one of your first stops. And you see what Marcus Freeman has done in making inroads here to the St. Louis area. We have done such a great job. And I credit the coaches for this. The coaches have really embraced the fact that we've got great kids. We've got great student athletes. And they're getting them ready for the next level. They're getting them prepared. They're getting them fundamentally sound. They're doing all the right things. And that's what it's all about. If you get these kids and you put them in great positions, that's going to give them ultimate success at the next level. The one thing that I'm a little concerned about is how the transfer portal is kind of affecting high school recruiting a little bit, because a lot of coaches have come out and said they're going to hit the portal first before they hit the high schools. And so I'm hoping that a balance can kind of be struck a little bit, because it's a shame that some of these high school kids that are having terrific careers and have done terrific things may not get to their college of choice initially. I think they'll eventually get there, but the transfer portal has kind of thrown a little bit of a monkey wrench into it.
That's an interesting perspective, Jim. You do see right now featured Ohio State, Notre Dame playing in the CFP National Championship on January 20th. Two big-time players that you just mentioned, Marcus Freeman was able to get. One of them, running back Jeremiah Love out of CBC, and then right there with him making another big play, the interception that sealed the game, Christian Gray out of DeSmet. What two high-caliber players on that Irish team, two of many at the Division I level.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, a lot of people didn't think that Jeremiah was going to play on Thursday night because he got dinged up, you know, in the game previous. And so, you know, there was a little bit of doubt, but, you know, in some of the things that his teammates said was, hey, he's going to go. And if he goes, we got to make sure we do what we need to do. And you know, the job that he's done has been terrific. It's been a lot of fun to watch him. And that defensive play at the end, my gosh, you know, talk about just an incredible interception. We saw that when he played at the Smet. I mean, he is just such a dynamic player. And those are just a couple of the kids that have really done a great job. You look at Ryan Wingo for Texas, you know, and, you know, that big catch he made to get him a first down, had a nice rush. I mean, there is just a plethora of great high school kids that are doing fantastic things at the next level. And now it's going to be really cool to see Jeremiah and Gray play on the biggest stage in college football here on a week tomorrow.
And then you have the junior linebacker at North Dakota State, Logan Kopp, who had 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, a forced fumble on the year, and helped bring his team to the national championship. They beat Montana State. North Dakota State wins it all, so they're at every level.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, I have a chance to be down in Frisco for the FCS championship. I moderate all the press conferences. And, you know, I had a chance to talk to Logan. And it's so cool to see, you know, a local kid on that level and the way he's done things. He had a key interception in the South Dakota State semifinal that got them to where they needed to be. And then he had some big plays in the national championship game. You know, and he's had a terrific career, and he's already announced he's coming back to North Dakota State. He wants one more shot at it. And you look at North Dakota State and South Dakota State and what the Missouri Valley Football Conference has done, Tom. I mean, 12 of the last 14 FCS championships have come out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. You don't see that. You just don't see that. And you're seeing a lot of the local kids that have an opportunity to play at the FCS level. Last year, Amir Johnson played for South Dakota State, won a national championship. Logan Kopp, this year, a young man from Lindbergh who's just terrific. He wins it. So it's really cool to see at every level our local kids doing a terrific job.
This is Jim Powers, who's been covering St. Louis high school football, basketball, and beyond for many, many years, joining us on KMOX. There was no bigger strip of a football, scoop and score, than Jack Sawyer, who took it away from Quinn Ewers and ran it the distance for Ohio State to give them their lead that they did not relinquish. They won against Texas. They advanced to the national championship. Jim Powers from Northeast Ohio. How are you feeling when the Buckeyes walked away with that victory?
I think a lot of people heard a lot of yelling and screaming when Jack Sawyer had the play of his career. At the end of that game, hey, Texas is a really good team. I was hoping, Ohio State would get out to a fast start. They got the touchdown, but I think that game flipped on its head when Travion Henderson got the screen pass and goes 75 yards with 20 seconds left in the first half. I think that's where that whole game kind of flipped a little bit, because instead of, a 7-7 tie going into halftime, now you're giving Ohio State all the momentum in the world leading into the halftime locker room. And then they get the ball to start the half. So, I think just the plays that Ohio State made and talking to a real good friend of mine yesterday, Jack Sawyer is never going to pay for anything ever again in Columbus, after that play. And I know a lot of people are questioning, Sark's play calls, in that situation, but you got to remember Ohio State's defense. How many times have we seen them with their backs against the goal line this year and have come up with stops and have stopped teams from getting into the end zone? And this was just another example of what the Ohio State defense has done. And I've said this since, the Buckeyes lost to the team up north, which I will still never say their name. I think that was the wake-up call. I think they have played angry. They know what's on the line. And they've been just playing some of the best football that I've seen an Ohio State team play in a long, long time.
Jim Powers, who's been covering high school sports here, the High School Sports Caravan for many years, joining us on KMOX. And on the offensive side, Ohio State, Texas did a great job of taking away Jeremiah Smith. They really did.
Yeah.
They found a way to keep him out of the game. Do you see Notre Dame, and they've got a good secondary, Jim, can they do the same thing? Will they use that strategy?
And you know what, though? You look at the Ohio State receiving room when you've got, Ibuka, you've got G. Scott, you've got Smith, then you can go to Carnell Tate, who stepped up in a big fashion. Texas took away Jeremiah. They were doubling him. They were bracketing him front and back, and that was opening things up for Carnell Tate. And so I think you got to pick your poison. Do you let Jeremiah get after you and try and break some long stuff, or do you kind of double him once again and let everybody else try and beat you? That was the situation that Texas, put Ohio State in. But with that receiving room, and I'll say this, the way Will Howard has played the last 3 games, he has not made very many mistakes. He has managed the game. He's putting them in great situations. And I tell you what, that 4th and 2 run that he had, if he doesn't, trip over the 20-yard line, he's in the end zone. And I don't even think we're talking about the Jack Sawyer scoop and score. But that receiving room is terrific. Notre Dame's going to have their work cut out for them in trying to figure out who do you want to stop? Do you want to stop Smith? Do you want to stop Ibuka? Or do you want to let them try and do what they do? And if they let them do that, I think it could be just like we saw in the Oregon game when they just went absolutely nuts, getting the ball to the outside.
Well, it's going to be a tough task for sure for the Irish next Monday in Atlanta, the matchup against Ohio State. Jim Powers, congratulations on your award for Misha, and thank you for joining us on KMOX. Good luck to your Buckeyes on the 20th.
Thanks so much, my friend. By the way, I heard your pick, and I disagree with 100%. You should be taking the Buckeyes no matter what the spread is. That's all I'm saying.
I know you heard. I took Irish plus 9.5. Appreciate you, man. Jimmy Powers with us on KMOX. Great to hear his voice on the radio. We're going to take a break. The big dog, Bernie Miklasz, will get his picks coming up next at 11:45. This is Sports on a Sunday Morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, and you believed they'd be kept safe. But now you've learned the nursing home has violated that trust. You've discovered bed sores, broken bones, and infections. Your loved one did not receive the care they deserved. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect or abuse, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE. Onder Law, making a difference one case at a time.
KMOX and the St. Louis Cardinals are thrilled that the 28th Winter Warm-Up is back at Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village, January 18th to 20th. Admission passes and player autograph tickets are on sale now. Team up with Cardinals Care to support St. Louis area children by purchasing your tickets now. It's one of the best events of the year, with family-friendly activities including tours of the Cardinals Clubhouse and admission to the world-class Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. Get more info at KMOX.com/events.
Says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
We welcome in Bernie Miklasz, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Good morning, Bernie.
What do you know, Mr. Tom Ackerman?
What's up, man? I love talking to you on these Sundays. We're going to talk some baseball here in just a second. But first, Let me get your picks for today. We've got Broncos at Bills, Packers at Eagles, and the Commanders at the Bucks. Who you got?
Well, I think the Bills are going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. And I don't know if you wanted me to talk about it in context of the point spread, but the thing of it is Denver's defense is truly, truly, truly outstanding. And Sean Payton, even as the coach of the Broncos, has had a tremendous record against the spread when he takes his team on the road. And he's also had a really good record against good teams on the road. So to me, this sets up as where Buffalo's really going to have to fight for this. And the point spread 7.5. I sent my brother some information because he can wager legally in the state of Maryland. We're not quite there yet. We will be later this year. And I told him the reasons why to take Denver in the point. So I won't go over all that, but I gave you the basics. As far as the second game, what's interesting to me is that Philadelphia is an obvious choice because Green Bay really, really, really stalled out late in the season. They were kind of a mess. However, they kind of did that last year, and they came into the playoffs and thrashed Dallas and then almost upset San Francisco. And I think people are overlooking them a little bit from the standpoint of this isn't going to be like a Steelers-Ravens game like last night. I think they're going to fight Philadelphia too. but I think Philadelphia wins. The one that intrigues me is really the Commanders at the Tampa Bay Bucks, because of you have Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, and there are some trend stuff. And let me just read you one thing. I apologize for the not having it up here. So Washington makes a lot of big plays through the air, and road teams that are averaging about 7.5 or more yards per pass attempt have been very, very good in the playoffs. 39, 19, and 2. That's 67% since 2004. Plus, Daniels can run the ball. Also, this number 3 versus number 6 matchup has a history of upsets. Road teams are 14-8 straight up and 17-5, 77% against the spread. So I know you didn't sign on for having me trying to be Jimmy the Greek, but I just find this stuff really interesting. So I just wanted to pass that information along. I think the Commanders got a chance to win it outright.
I do too. I agree with you on that. I like those picks a lot. I think it's going to really be an interesting day without question. Bernie Miklasz is with us. Bernie, we do the Gas House Gang throughout the week. We talk Cardinal baseball most of the show. I have to admit, I'm going to raise my hand and admit to the camera here on YouTube that I have Arenado fatigue. I'm ready for this thing to be over. Let's go. I mean, can we wrap this thing up? Is he a Cardinal or not? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, I don't know what to say anymore, because I think, to all of our credit, not just we gentlemen in the Gas House Gang, but St. Louis media overall, and including some bloggers that I really respect. I mean, we have sussed this thing out. We have laid it out. We have discussed every single variable. We have discussed all these different scenarios, a million times collectively. And I don't know that there's really anything else to say because we've been through it over and over and over again. I think, Tom, it really does come down to this. And this is repeating, as you know, what we already know. It does come down to, all right, what is going to happen if Alex Bregman sounds elsewhere? Do the Red Sox spring into action? I don't know. But at least that what I would think would increase the possibility. There's been talk about how there are other teams that are have inquired to the Cardinals about Arenado. Normally, we wouldn't think anything of those teams because we think, well, he would never go there. But his agent's letting certain media people know that, he's got an open mind about some other places now. So are we talking Seattle? Are we talking Detroit? Are we talking Kansas City? I mean, I have no idea. Let me ask you, though, if I could, because I think what it comes down to is, like, what's your gut feeling? Will he be a Cardinal when this team gets ready to start the regular season or not?
My gut is that he will be elsewhere. I think they're going to find a way to deal him. And you know what? If he comes back as a Cardinal, I'd be fine with it, because I think that they would deal him at the deadline and they might get a better deal and he may have more options. But I think Boston, I think it's possible Detroit. That's what my gut says, but that percentage is dropping. I mean, I'm down to like 65-35 where I was at 90-10 not long ago. I mean, I really think that it's getting close. And if he does come back, Bernie, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I know that everybody who is ready for these prospects would say that it blocks Nolan Gorman. Not necessarily. I mean, you would have your anchor at third and you'd have a bat in the middle of the order. He might not be playing for a World Series contender, but he might be in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. That's certainly a scenario. And the one thing that I go back to from time to time, even though I say up front, again, it's unrealistic. But the Cardinals don't have to start Arenado, 140 games or so at third base. They just don't have to. They're under no obligation to. So my point is if they would want to start him fewer times, maybe DH him here and there, they could still have a way to make sure Nolan Gorman gets pretty good amount of time at third base, also playing some second base and also DHing. But the reason I say it's unrealistic is because I think it would make it very awkward in the clubhouse. It would make it very awkward for Ollie Marmol. It would make it awkward for everybody. I mean, you look, it's not like Arenado has no value. He has value. He's just not what it used to be. But he's still a plus player, and he's still a really plus player defensively. and he still is technically slightly above average offensively. So it's not like this guy is like 100%, 75% liability. He can still help you win games. So in that context, it would be tough to put him on the bench a lot. Maybe a little more than you would, but it would be tough to do that. So I recognize that. But I'm just pointing out, he's got the no trade he's got the no trade card, and the Cardinals have the lineup card. They're in charge of that, right?
That's right. They're also in charge of who's running the show. And in our final minute here, I'll read a tweet that someone sent me. When will Bloom be featured on sports on a Sunday morning? I think most fans are tired of the Mo love, need a perspective of the future. I appreciate the message. It's not Mo Love. He's the president of the baseball operations. So he does the 11:30 slot and he answers questions. I can assure you that we have requested Chaim Bloom, and we would hope to get the first radio interview when he's available.
Well, that's exactly right. And even in my experience, you're speaking from, the sports director of KMOX standpoint and how the station approaches things with regards to interview requests and things like that. And of course, you're all over it. And I would think his first interview would be with KMOX. But every time I do a video on YouTube, the Bernie Miklasz show on YouTube, just a quick plug so you don't have to do it.
Yes.
Every time it seems like I get 3 or 4 comments. It's like, well, I don't understand why Bloom's not running everything now. Listen, it's okay to feel that way. But my point is, we all get so many questions about this, and I'm not sure why, because the Cardinals made it perfectly clear how they were going to do 2025. And Chaim Bloom wanted to do this because he thought the minor league rehabilitation was so massive of a project, it deserved his undivided attention. So I'm not sure why people are still grabbing onto this thing as if suddenly he's going to be running things like by May 20th or whatever. It's just not going to happen. So the reality may not be what we like, but it's time to accept the reality. It's not going to change. He will take over when this season is over, and he will be on KMOX at that point.
Bernie Miklasz is on KMOX Sundays at 11:45. Thank you, pal.
We'll talk tomorrow on the Gas House Gang. Thank you, as always, my brother.
Yes, we will. Noon on the KMOX Sports YouTube page. The news is next.
I'm Gentry.
I'm Ben.
We're the Golden Boys.
For the 25th annual Hardee's Rise and Shine for Heat benefit.
In January, pre-order as many sausage or egg biscuits or both for $1 each.
Pre-order only at heatupstlouis.org.
Within 24 hours, pick up your pre-orders at your Hardee's.
100% helps area neighbors stay warm.